By becoming rich.
Take all your money, buy Bitcoin.
I say when we
You
sell.
wake up every morning and say GM.
GM. GM. GM. GM. So, today is Tuesday. Really good start to the week for BTC. You could not ask for a better start. Impulsive candle. I'm looking now at the thing I talked about a couple of days ago. Over the next few days, weeks, whatever, any kind of pullback or correction into here is a buy for sure. We may not get that. This move, especially if it holds above this old daily close, is probably going to lead to Bitcoin moving through to the other side of the value area, which was marked out over here. So here we have it. If we zoom in, see it on a little bit of a lower time frame. I think this was from trade of the day yesterday, mentioning if Bitcoin moves up or down, we're looking at a couple of different levels. So let me clear off some of this now, make it a bit easier to see. We're above the old POC. We're above the previous value area. It seems like this breakaway candle is going to be left as a gap. We've come down, we've retested. I would wait for some confirming factor. So if Bitcoin goes to new highs from here, so if it's unable to break lower and it goes to new highs, I think the trade then is straight towards that value area high, and it'll probably just happen in one move. Or we'll come back down and fill in some of this. And then if you get the value area low retest and it holds, that's the next place to get long. So those are the two different paths I see for BTC. Now, zooming back out, checking on the bands. Bands are going to cross green. No doubt here, really, unless you had a complete collapse today, they'll probably cross tomorrow, and that officially puts us back into an uptrend, especially with the range low reclaim. And whether it, to me, the best thing you can see after reclaiming the bands and then flipping green again would be consolidation. So are we going to see consolidation after the reclaim? Hopefully. But we'll see. That's going to happen in the next couple of days, I'd say. ETH, same thing. Mentioned this the other day. Just looks like it's going to keep grinding up and go straight higher. It did. Announcement about the ETH. We'll get that there. There we go. Announcement about the ETH ETFs are going to be coming next Tuesday. So not today, but a week from now, which is there, 23rd of July. And let me see that ETF. All right. And I think for ETH it's very simple. If it's not going to chop around at this lower range like it was previously, then that's a bullish sign. So ETH wants to stay above this red zone. Consolidation dips down into it, wicks into it are totally fine. You just don't want to see ETH accepting back below 3,200, 33, 32. And you want to see things starting to move higher and build value towards the top end of the range. I don't think that we are going to go into trends on the higher time frame breakouts so soon, because already the market is kind of scrambling to get bullish again. It's not going to take much at all for people to flip themselves max long. So the best thing you could see would be some chop consolidation. If we run to the highs soon, I would expect more of a chance of a rejection. It's good that it's moved away from the lows for ETH, for Sol, and for BTC. Right, they're all following exactly the paths you'd want to see. The next thing you want to see is consolidation. Now, the same thing you want to look at with the 4-hour trends. This gives you a much more objective view. We're still bearish on the 4-hour EMAs. So you need the 50 above the 100 above the 200. So the 50 is crossing the 100 right now, but they're still in a bearish formation. Nice move up, strong move up, time for some consolidation, probably. Time for a bit of a pullback, probably. It's gone up and it's cleaned up these weak highs over here that were basically anyone who FOMO'd into a short there got away with it because the subsequent bounce wasn't able to take them out. They've been taken out. That inefficiency has been cleaned up. Perfect place for some consolidation, correction, pullback. I expect it to get really choppy from here. I don't expect any immediate continuation. I mentioned a minute ago the path you could see, but my expectation would be we've had a big move off the lows. Now people are scrambling to get long, and that's usually where they get chopped to pieces. And it's just chop, 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 chop. Don't know, up, down, sideways, doesn't really matter. Probably down, of course. Within this sort of 64 to 62 range. And what day is it now? It's Tuesday? Yeah. We could see maybe even the rest of this week being quite choppy. I think the move has happened. We got big inflow day. So we had Friday with 310, yesterday with 300. So we're starting to see high inflows again. And the next thing to see is the 4-hour bands crossing back to bullish. So again, I think that'll take a while, as it tends to do, right? Whenever price first crosses over. What you don't want to see is price continuing to push way above trend, because then that's an example of a lower high bounce or a bearish retest, right? So price continuing to move up and trend through the range very quickly would be not what I would want to see. It's not what you'd want to see if you're looking for a consolidation before a big breakout and a continuation of, bull run. So we'll see how that goes. ETH, same thing. Still waiting for the 4-hour to cross. Solana is closer to that. Still not quite yet, but it'll be the first one to do it. So what you'll be looking at, like on Sol, will be when these cross over here, you're looking at a pullback on Sol around those bands as a good area to look at longs. Now, also, when the market is transitioning from bearish to bullish, you should see a lot of chop around these areas, right? So it first reclaims the bands and goes above them, but the bands are still bearish. It then pulls back and the bands are still bearish, and slowly they cross. But what you'll notice here, you'll notice it as well. Again, this is a good example. When the bands go straight from bearish to a big rally up, it's not a good sign. Run to the range high, took out the highs, back to the lows. If Bitcoin runs to the range high from here, or to 70, I would expect a pullback, back down to the lows. Doesn't have to go lower, but when you see these reclaims, you want to see them like this, right? So big crash down, price goes sideways, reclaims, pushes above the bands. They don't go bullish though. It's trying to reclaim back below and then reclaims again. It's the idea which is completely logical, right? People will start to FOMO and they will start to try and front run what they think is now a bullish trend. So you look at the bands here. People are like, oh shit, I need to get long. Staying above the bands, oh, it's great. And they'll get long thinking of that's going to happen. But actually, it's far more likely to go back below at some point, spend a little bit of time below them, and then back above. It's the same as the concept of the 4-hour or daily or any time frame, the EMA bands, going red, green, right? So when you have the EMA bands, you want to look at these things like, where do people get their confirming signals? And what would make them go long? And people will go long when the bands go green. So the best example of it is over here, or there's many examples of it. But you see this move up and the bands are green, you get long again, go red, like, oh, it's wrong. And then when they go green again the next time, people don't believe it. You get that disbelief move. Here, bands went green, oh shit, the bottom might be in, flushes all the way back down. Next time they go green, that's the time to get in. So Bitcoin's bands, we've already done that kind of in more of a downwards fashion. So we had the transition to red, correction, sell off, rally back up, people got excited, that was it, flushed all the way down. And that was a deep flush, went to new lows, big liquidations, lots of fear, lots of panic. So we definitely had that. I think on the higher time frame is constructive. We have now broken that structure. So I talked about this on Weekly Outlook. This whole talk about Wyckoff distribution, invalid, done. Doesn't mean we can't go lower, but you can only trade what's in front of you, right? And price is the signal that you trade with. So when price invalidates the last point of supply, LPSY, and it invalidates the show weakness, which is the Wyckoff distribution schematic, which is done here. It's done that by closing through 64. That is now a sign that a bearish setup is failing, which can be one of the most bullish things. Is it going to moon straight away? I actually hope not, even though it'll be an easy long, and there's probably quite an easy long from here up to 69 in my opinion. Prefer to see lengthy compressing consolidation. That would be much better. You know, something like this, where after a move up, it moves very quiet, like very, very slowly. Nice move up, volatility compresses, price goes sideways and then higher. Or here, price reclaims the bands, goes sideways, compresses and volatility here. I don't know if we can see that, honestly. I mean, I think the market is just, it's just not early anymore. People were bearish over here, people were disbelief over here. They're just not now. People are, you know, everyone's chasing to either make back the gains they've lost or thinking that they need to make more money or that the bull market's easy and we're back. So I don't expect any kind of clean, easy trending conditions with a nice tight consolidation, compression, but we can hope, right? So that's about it. That's about it now. BTC looking good. Every single bearish structure is invalidated bar the bands going green and the 4-hour trend flipping back to bullish. So in terms of what I look for, obviously there's still plenty of stuff that's not showing bullish yet. But those are the last couple of things. Bands go green, 4-hour trend, 50, 100, 200 gets in line. That's when we're really starting to move into an uptrend again. Until then, don't forget this is a range, this is a consolidation, this is a previous area, you know, of value. So we should move from one side to the other, but longs would be the only play I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at consolidations or dips in terms of buying, and I'd be targeting that 70k area, GM.